Generally, I'm very skeptical of the type of person that identifies as an activist.
With all your extensive research and knowledge on this, ideology addiction, what is it? And how do we associate addiction with ideology?
Ideologies, like drugs, is psychoactive, and they can alter your mood. Something you ingest that makes you feel maybe better or worse, but it also changes your worldview in the same way that drugs can do. And because it can alter your mood in the same way as drugs, they are potentially addictive. Deleterious consequences for the individual and the society, in the same way that chronic heroin use has negative consequences for the individual and his family. An individual in the extreme grips of ideological beliefs or ideological addiction exhibits very similar, and in many cases exactly the same psychological and behavioural patterns common to all other addicts. This form of archaic narcissism, unmet childhood needs, denial, rationalization, lying, anybody that believes in a belief system, or religions can be described as ideologies, political systems ideologies, then there's stuff like social justice and all sorts of things. Just because somebody has an orientation towards that or believes that some of the premises, it doesn't mean they're an ideology addict. It is when they are possessed by it and their behavior becomes destructive to themselves and others. Ideology addict is somebody that has actually lost control over his own belief systems. So their activism doesn't serve to make the world a better place. They're not in Greenpeace because they actually care about dolphins and whales and seahorses. They're in Greenpeace because it serves a psychological function for them, and then they become dangerous. So that belief system has possessed them and has turned them into what I would refer to as an idiot. And I use the word idiot not as somebody with a low IQ, but more in the Greek sense of the term, that somebody that has become a detrimental individual to society, in the same way that a heroin addict doesn't contribute positively to society. He is an hindrance to himself and he's a hindrance to other people. Young people need to be aware of older ideologues that are promoting their own agenda, how dangerous it is to follow any type of belief system without having your head screwed onto your body. You will get sucked in. These are people with unstable inner worlds, somebody that is entirely selfish and is promoting an ideology to cover up for their own psychological inadequacies. These people are psychologically disturbed individuals and need something external to themselves to provide scaffolding to feel better, like addicts. This is like addiction 101. Activism in itself is not problematic, and the belief in itself is not problematic. When they are in the grips of ideology addiction, ultimately the activism has got nothing to do with what they believe in. The activism is fundamentally a narcissistic project. So their activism doesn't serve to make the world a better place. It is ultimately a misguided attempt at self-repair and the satisfaction of archaic narcissistic needs that are seldom motivated by the ideals of the ideology, in the same way that addicts are often motivated by a sense of shame and narcissistic injury, which can be a result of neglect as childhood or some type of trauma. Those archaic needs that result from that trauma and the shame That is what drives ideology addiction, not the person's belief in what type of activist belief system he's promoting. And that's why generally I'm very skeptical of the type of person that identifies as an activist.